controller extension. So this extension thing has a very simple concept. All right. So what is that? Sometimes you need some additional functionalities, okay, or additional methods to be used on your Visualforce page. Okay. When I say additional, I mean the functionalities which are not available with your primary controller. So far we have been dealing with standard or custom controller, right? Standard controller are the ones which are already there in Salesforce. We just need to call the object name. And the custom controllers are the classes that we have created, right? These two things we have done so far. Now, in both the cases, there is a certain limitation for the controller. Like standard controller by default comes up with certain functionalities, and that is what you are restricted to. Custom controller, you define a few methods, and that is what you again get restricted to. Now, in case you want to extend the functionalities or extend the functions which are being used by your primary controller, then you would need an extension, right? So as the name suggests, it will be an extension to the actual controller. Fine. So you have to have a standard or a custom controller. Along with that, you can also put an extension controller which will be used for adding the functionalities, right? Something which is not available through your standard or custom controller, then you can use extension for that. Clear? Okay. It's very simple. So for extension also you have to go and develop an Apex class. The process is pretty similar to a custom controller. Click on new. So you have to create a class. You have to define methods the way we have done, like string ABC equals this is my new extension. So let me define a get method for this. Okay, so a normal class I have created, right? Now let me call this as an extension on the Visualforce page. Now you can call it on any Visualforce page, okay, which already has a controller. You can call it there as well. So let me just go here and Just give me 1 minute. Huh? Hello. Yep. Here I am. Alright, so we have defined this extension. I have opened a Visualforce page, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call that class as as an extension here on this page. Okay, so I already have a controller which is C2, which means the controller is C2, the other class that I have written. In addition to that, if I want to use more functions and those are in this class E1, I can call this class as well, but I cannot call two controllers on a page. So the second time I can call it as an extension. Okay. Before you can use a class as an extension, you just have to go and define a constructor here. You just have to go and say epics pages dot controller let me call it on a different page. Let me create a new page. So there's a syntax error. Just give me a minute. Yes. So that is it. Now you can call the methods from E1, or you can also use the standard controller methods like account.name, account.type, or in E1 you have a method called ABC. Just call that one as well here. See this? Right? So this is how your extension is used. Now the point is, why would we need extension controller? Okay, because if you notice it looks pretty similar to a custom controller. We are creating a class and then we are calling it, right? So what is the difference between a custom controller and an extension? Anyone who wants to make a guess on why we are using an extension? What can be the use of using an extension thing? We have already done a few examples using custom controllers, right? Then why do we need an extension controller? How do you think it's helping us? Anyone?
Maybe like implementing another program, like when you write a class, maybe writing, I'm not able to explain it. I'm not sure if it is correct or not.
No, it's correct. Go ahead.
See, C1, C2, C3, we write 3 classes. So just using different methods, we use different methods in different classes.
You're right.
So maybe you, instead of it writing an extension, maybe it's same concept. I'm confused, but
No, you are right. Actually, the thing is, let's say you already have designed a page. Okay.
okay.
Today you started designing a page. You have all written a class, and then you have deployed the class and the page. Everything is there. After 2 months, you realize that there is one more functionality that you need. Okay, there is one more function that you need. Now you don't want to go and disturb your original class because that has been deployed, tested, everything has been done, right? Now I mean, definitely something which is working absolutely fine, you're not going to disturb that, because then what would happen if you disturb that class? It might affect existing methods, right? If something wrong happens. So we do not want to go and touch the actual class, but we have to put additional functionality. Then what we will do, we can simply create an extension. So whatever happens on the extension, and I'm not actually disturbing the actual methods and functions, right? But if I go and start working on the actual class again, then again I'll have to go through this series of testing and all, and I'll have to make sure that people are not using that class again till the time I'm working on that part. Got it? So that can be one requirement. So same thing, it's nothing different, but it's just a add-on, the way you have add-ons on the softwares, or what do you call those? So software, there are certain add-on features. What do we call them? Plugins. Yes. So that sort of thing. So you don't want to disturb the actual class, and you want to put additional functionals also. So that is one reason. Second reason is you have used a standard controller. Now if you are using a standard controller, and in the standard controller you have all Salesforce defined methods, right? Standard controller does not recognize any of your custom defined method, because standard controller, if you look into this thing, standard controller, we have not written a single line of code here. This is something which comes from salesforce.com, right? So when this is completely defined by salesforce.com, I do not have scope of writing my own methods or anything here. In that scenario, if I want to use a custom method, then I can put that in a class and use that as an extension, right? So there are two scenarios. One, you already have a class and you don't want to disturb that, but you still need additional functions, go and create an extension. Or when you are using an extension with a standard controller, because standard controller is predefined by Salesforce and we do not have a scope of changing that, right? So are we all clear on what is an extension and why it is being used? Shall we do one more example? Okay. Let us do one more example to make things simpler for you, okay, so that you understand how an extension is used. We have designed a page a few days back. I think there was a page where we created tabs. So it was an account page. We created it using standard controller, and we put a few tabs there. Okay. Do you see this page? Standard controller page it is. Now here what all tabs I have? I have a details tab, contacts, opportunities, cases. Okay. So one tab has details of the account, the other one has all the contacts under that account, the third one has all the opportunities under that account, and the fourth one has all the cases under that account, right? These three contacts, opportunities, cases are related list of the account, right? And I have tried displaying them using different tabs. Now my question is, or my requirement here is that I need one more tab here and that tab I want to display all the campaigns that I have. Alright, so in that tab I want to display all the campaigns that I have. Got it? How can we do that? Now campaign is not a related list of account. Campaign is not related data. So it cannot be handled through standard controller. Standard controller can only display data of that particular object or the related list. Now there is no relationship between account and campaign. I have been asked to display list of campaigns on this page. And this page is using a standard controller. Try to understand the logic, right? I'm able to show contacts because contact is a related list of accounts. There is a relationship between account and contact. But campaign and campaign and account do not have any relationship. But still I need to show it. Then what do I need? I need a custom method to be defined there, right? But because it's a standard controller, I cannot put a custom method here. So what is the option that is left with me? Create an extension. Okay, it's very simple. So let me just copy this entire code and create one more page. So our requirement is to have one more tab and display the list of campaigns there. Fine, we'll do that. First of all, I've created the page. I've just copied the entire code and created another page so that you don't get confused with your standard controller thing. Alright. Now what we are going to do, we are simply going to create an Apex class which will have a method to display list of campaigns, and that method we are going to call on our page. Okay, so simple thing, public class, what name shall I give it? E2. Okay, the name can be anything. Okay, we'll see how easy it is. Just select name, start date, end date, campaign, and then return public list Okay, so I've defined a method which would return the list of campaigns. Okay, but this is in a class. Now to call this method on that Visualforce page, what do I need? I need to use it as an extension. So before you can call it as an extension, you have to say public e2 apex pages dot standard controller. So this is a constructor that you define. That's it. Now you can call this class here as an extension, and because you can call the class, you can then call the method also inside it. So I'll create one more tab here. Let me create one more tab. And the name that I'm going to give to this tab is campaigns. And here it will not be list. Inside this tab it has to be a table because it's not a related list. So I have to create text page block table. Text page block table value camps variable c index column See, so this has come through a custom method, right? All these are account related information. This is independent information which came through my method, what I defined there. Are we clear on this? Let me know if you have any questions. All right. So now we have talked about controller extension, right? Controller extension, everyone is clear? We understand custom controller. So there are 4 types of controllers and we have talked about all these controllers, right? Standard, standard list, custom and extension. Anyone has a doubt here? Question? No? Simple? Easy to understand? Okay. So these are different types of controllers. Now the next what we are going to talk about. So we have understood, we have talked about Visualforce and we have also seen use of Apex with Visualforce. How Apex can be used with Visualforce. Now the next step we are going to get into is how to use Apex only, without Visualforce. How can I call Apex, methods and all. So there are several ways of doing that. One of those ways is a trigger. Okay, one of the ways of writing Apex is using a trigger. Okay. What is a trigger? Trigger primarily works with a DML operation. Okay, it works with a DML operation. What is a DML operation? Any insert or update or delete which is happening on the database, you can execute the code there before the record gets edited, updated, or before the record gets saved, before the record gets deleted, or after the record gets deleted. Some code you can execute that is called trigger. So we are going to talk in details about the triggers in tomorrow's session, and we'll see a few examples on the triggers so that you understand triggers clearly. So I think today we'll just keep it till here. Just a quick question. Tomorrow everyone is available for session, right? We are all available, right? That's fine. Good, fine. So we'll connect same time tomorrow. It will be the same